And welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2022-23 season. My name is Dan, and today we are doing my Game Week 3 team selection video, where we're going to be going through my squad from Game Week 2, as well as looking at my transfers for Game Week 3, captaincy, how I'm going to set up my team, etc, etc. Guys, so if you do enjoy this video, please do leave a like, and I know 50% of you guys watching this video right now are not subscribed. I'm aiming to get 150,000 subscribers pretty soon, so if you can help me out there and click the subscribe button, that would be massively, massively appreciated. Thank you so much to those of you who are subscribing. Okay, let's start off by looking at my Game Week 2 scores. 67 points, so a much better game week than my first game week, that's for sure. So we have had a significant rank increase from 4.3 million, which was just the worst ever start, up to 2.23 million-ish, which is pretty good. You know, it's a pretty significant increase, and we will be aiming to kind of try and half our ranks pretty much every game week until we reach around, I don't know, 400, 500k, and then it might be a little bit slower grinding from there. But if we keep halving our rank, then I think we're going to be pretty happy with that. And how different it could have been. Obviously, we stuck with Kane. Got a bit lucky there that Haaland didn't outscore Kane, to be honest. But we are very happy to now have Kane in our team going forward. So yeah, backing, you know, the original team did pay off there to an extent. Salah captaincy could have gone so much better, and you feel like the same with kind of Trent and Robertson. How much more could it have been on a different day? But the rest of the team was pretty impressive. Raya, Cancelo, James, Jesus as well, absolutely smashing it. If you guys don't own Jesus, then you guys must have had you know, such a terrible time at the weekend. And then there's just the minor concerns in midfield. Saka, Neto, Bailey, who just didn't perform again. Bailey wasn't even playing, he was a substitute. Neto, once again, Wolves didn't look very good in attack. And Saka, for some reason, it's all about Martinelli, so a major regret on my part. Wish I went for Martinelli over Saka, but what are you going to do? We have to move forward from here, don't we? And there we go. That's pretty much my Game Week 2 scores. We can look at this as long as we like, but the important thing is where we go from here. What are we going to do next? How are we going to continue to go up the ranks? Let me show you. Okay, so let's look at our Game Week 3 team. It says I've got one free transfer. That's because I already have used one of my free transfers in Game Week 3 already. I will show you that in just one moment. But yeah, just to let you know, guys, I have already used one of my free transfers, which means I've got one left to use. And I'm going to kind of talk about what I might do with that free transfer, you know, as we finish off this team. So let's just go through everything. We've got 0.5 in the bank. Team value is starting to creep up finally, which is good. In goal, we have got Raya, a goalkeeper I'm very, very happy with. His first two fixtures, Leicester and Man United, were very much fixtures I just wanted to get out the way, and then we look forward to Brentford's really nice run of fixtures, and that's exactly what they've got. Fulham up next, then Everton, Crystal Palace and Leeds. So we're going to expect a few clean sheets here from Brentford, who I think are a fairly decent defensive team. And what I like about Raya is he makes loads and loads of saves, and if the score is low scoring, you know, if you know, for example, that Manchester United game, if that game was a little bit lower scoring, a 1-0 or a 2-0, then we would have seen Raya get some bonus points. So that's why I really like him. Save points and bonus points in those low scoring games. So I'm thinking over the course of this next 4, maybe we can get some decent hauls from Raya, that's for sure. So moving into defense, we've got Trent Alexander-Arnold, absolute no-brainer, not going anywhere. Don't let those game weeks 1 and 2 fool you, particularly game week 2. He was so magnificently creative and was so unlucky to not get some kind of assist out of that game. He really was that good. He's just an absolute master wizard with the passing, isn't he? Once again, proving that he is one of the top creators in the league, perhaps only behind De Bruyne. So we're definitely going to be keeping him. Manchester United up next. If you guys know anything about how Manchester United have been doing recently, they're going to be in a real state of mud at the moment. You know, particularly coming up against a Liverpool team that likes to press, and you know, United are just not very press resistant at all. So we're going to see these Liverpool players come in and absolutely dominate. And you can say, oh well, these are Liverpool defenders, but they're not. Players like Trent and players like Robertson, they're very much a part of the Liverpool attack. So if Liverpool go there, even if they don't keep a clean sheet, and I hope they do keep a clean sheet in this game, but even if they don't, they are still going to have you know, attacking contributions just as much as the midfielders, almost as much as some of the forwards, the fullbacks for Liverpool. They just are attackers dressed as defenders, I suppose, aren't they? So yeah, Trent, very, very confident in going forward. After that, really nice fixtures as well, particularly for defenders. After that, we've got Robertson. So Robertson as well, we've got the double up still. I'm still sticking with this one. There is an option for me to change this around, which we'll perhaps talk about a little bit later, but I do still feel reasonably confident in Robertson. And the main reason for that is that when I watched him in that game against Crystal Palace, he was essentially playing as a striker. It really was quite crazy. Where we saw Trent kind of trying to be creative and get those passes in, what we saw with Robertson was he was actually in those, inside a left forward position a lot of the time, where he was actually getting inside of Diaz, getting ready to shoot, getting in those really dangerous positions, and he was getting in those positions multiple times where you kind of look like he might have a goal in him in that game. So on another day, yes, he didn't get the points, but it's all about in FPL trying to find those positives, trying to find the things you like when you see a player, and I did see a lot of things that I liked about Robertson. So the points so far this season have been terrible for Robertson, don't get me wrong, but there are some really, really positive signs I think to be taken there. I'm not going to tell you that Robertson is better than Diaz or Diaz is better than Robertson or whoever else, but what I will tell you is that there's certainly potential for points for Robertson. We saw it at the second half of last season. We've seen the positioning he's been in. I think there are goals in this player, and a game against Manchester United, who you think Liverpool might score a few goals against, you just wonder whether Robertson could be the guy to get that goal, don't you? Next up, we've got Cancelo. Absolute defensive rock because he plays for Man City, so he'll get those clean sheets over the next few game weeks. Newcastle, I'm not expecting too many attacking returns from these Man City players. I'm really expecting it to be kind of 2-0 at maximum, but you never know in football, really, do you? So yeah, this Newcastle game, I'm really just looking for clean sheets and bonus points. If the scoreline is pretty low, then Cancelo is going to be able to pick up those bonus points alongside his clean sheet because of his constant passing. He really is a bonus point magnet, a bonus point machine, even when he doesn't get an attacking contribution, although we won't say no to another assist or maybe even a cheeky goal if he's taking those shots on. Next up, we've got Reece James. Pretty happy that we went with him in the end. He's got a price rise now as well, up to 6.1. And you look at this Leeds game and you think, if James is going to go back to the right wing-back position, and I think he will go back to the right wing-back position, if that were to happen, he is going to be playing really advanced. And, we've seen already, he's got the most expected goals and assists out of any Chelsea player so far, which is really impressive considering he's a defender and considering that he spent significant amounts of this season so far playing at right centre-back. So, yeah, if he's going to be playing a full game at right wing-back, which I think he could do against a team like Leeds, then that's going to be really, really good. And we're going to have some real opportunities for goals and assists as well as the clean sheets if we think Chelsea can sort their defence out, which I think they're going to get. Yeah, they're going to get there with time. They're certainly going to be improving with time as we go on. So, yeah, James looking really good. And finally, we're going to finish off a 5-man defence this week with Patterson. So, yeah, first appearance for Patterson in any of my fantasy teams ever. He's obviously a 4 million defender, but I've been pretty impressed with him so far. I've been watching his games quite closely just to see if he is one of those players with a lot of potential. And certainly the hype, the hype around Everton is certainly justified. This player looks like a good little player, taking a few shots on, up there, right up the pitch, playing a few passes, getting into those dangerous positions. And I know Everton haven't had the best results so far this season, but I do think they are going to be a little bit better than people think they're going to be. I know people kind of assume that Everton are going to be these whipping boys this season. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I think they have improved defensively. They have certainly brought in some good defensive reinforcements, playing through at the back as well. And this Nottingham Forest game, I actually think Nottingham Forest, the one goal they've got this season, I think they were very, very fortunate to get that goal. I just don't think the quality in attack is quite there at Nottingham Forest. And perhaps they just need a little bit of time to gel. Perhaps they need, to find the right players and the right system, the right combination of players among all of their new signings to make something work. But as things stand, I think that, even if they do get a few opportunities to score, I don't think I'd really back Nottingham Forest to score, even against Everton, particularly as it's an away game for Forest. So I actually kind of like the idea of going for Patterson. I like the idea of potentially getting a clean sheet there. I think Everton, this is going to be one of their best opportunities all season to get a clean sheet, and I kind of like Patterson's positioning and seeing what he can do. So yeah, a new entry to the team. Patterson is in the first team despite the fact that he's a 4 million defender. Let's see how it goes, but it's certainly an interesting punt, isn't it? Into midfield, we've got Salah. He's got Manchester United, and we know what Salah does against Manchester United. He does very, very well. Absolutely insane scores every time he seems to play them. I think that just comes down to that press resistance or the poor poor press resistance that Manchester United have, and just puts Salah in prime position. You know, Manchester United are prone to the odd mistake, aren't they, recently? And you feel like if anyone's going to be capitalising on that, it is going to be a player like Salah. I also like the fact that Nunez is not going to be in this Liverpool side, which means Firmino's probably going to come back into that team. And when Firmino plays alongside Salah, this really, really does benefit Salah a lot. So I think he's going to get more opportunities to score. I think he's going to be coming in a little bit more centrally, and I think he's going to, you know, absolutely dominate Manchester United as he always seems to do. So don't be put off by the fact that it's an away fixture and it's against, you know, giants of Manchester United. We know they're a huge football club. I think looking at this individually as a fixture and as a player against a certain team, this looks really, really good indeed. Next up, we've got Saka, who has just been just frustrating to own so far, but there's no doubt about it. He's still a fantastic player, and if he does anything like he did the second half of last season, then we won't be complaining for much longer. I just think it's a case of surely something's going to come soon. Like, you could sell Saka, you could downgrade him to Martinelli. It feels wrong to sell Saka ahead of Bournemouth and Fulham. He's still going to be on penalties, which is always a bonus. And I just don't know if I can bring myself to sell him. Obviously, Martinelli is a much better option at that price. But I feel like we've got to maybe keep faith in Saka. I'm certainly feeling that I should keep faith in Saka. It's a really difficult one though, isn't it? Really difficult. But the fixtures ahead, Bournemouth next. We're expecting Arsenal to go score a few goals. So as long as you guys are kind of got, you know, 2 minimum Arsenal attackers, I think you're going to do just fine with that Saka or Martinelli paired up with Jesus up front. We've got Neto next, who plays against Spurs away. Wolves have been characteristically disappointing going forward. That's just kind of what they do, isn't it? I have to say though, they do have a fairly good record against Spurs, but I think there could be a bit of a change up in the forward positions. I don't know. I'm not saying that Neto is going to be rested. I'm not saying he's going to be rotated, but I think if anything, he might get substituted off a little bit early again, and maybe there is a chance he gets rotated with some of the other Wolves attackers, just to try and figure out something that's going to work, because so far it's not been very good for Wolves in attack, has it, at all? So, yeah, I wonder with this Spurs game, the rotation risk maybe starting to creep in if Neto continues to, you know, not score goals, not get assists. And then Newcastle up next. Neto is very much on the chopping block in terms of my team. If I'm getting rid of him, it's going to be this game week. If I keep him this week, I will keep him forever. I still don't think he's... when I say forever, I don't mean it literally, by the way, guys. I just feel like maybe he could do okay. I don't think he's played badly, and I don't think he's massive rotation risk. And I still feel like Wolves like a result against Tottenham. So this could be, removing Neto could be one of those sideways type transfers that you end up regretting. So I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced by this one either way, really. But there you go. That's FPL for you, isn't it? Going up front, we've got Harry Kane, who I am now, obviously, if Kane and Haaland, they had the same price, then I obviously would have made that switch. I think I got put off by the fact I'd have to take a -4 to get in Haaland, but now I'm really, really glad about that. Obviously, Kane outscored Haaland, which was very, very good. And looking at these next 4 fixtures, I just look at this for Harry Kane and I think, yeah, this is actually really good. I think I'm probably in a better position now than I would have been had I made the switch. I just happened to survive Game Week 2, which I wasn't sure if I was going to or not. But now I know I have. Kane going forward, I really like the look of. I like a look of him against Wolves. I don't think Wolves are as good defensively as they once were. And then after that, we've got some really nice fixtures. So Harry Kane, whether he scores us a penalty, whether he scores us a header, whether he scores us, you know, from open play, I don't care. I know he can score goals, and I'm really liking the look of this run of fixtures. So yeah, very, very happy as a Kane owner. I like the fact that he's a bit of a differential as well, which is always really, really good. So yes, come on, Kane, please repay the faith I've kept in you. Please, please, and all other Kane owners around the world, we deserve it for keeping that faith and not switching to Haaland, I guess. And finally, we're going to finish off with Jesus, who is just an absolute monster, an absolute beast, and he's going to score 4 goals again. Well, get 4 returns again against Bournemouth. No, he really is the centre of this Arsenal team, the centrepiece. Everything's going through him. Everything is set up to bring him into play, which is so nice to see. He's really just revolutionised Arsenal in so many ways. So, yeah, I'm expecting Bournemouth, him to get, you know, several goal contributions. I would say that he gets, you know, minimum 2 goal contributions in this game, which is fantastic. It's exactly what we kind of want, isn't it? So Jesus can have a good game week, and I can see that ownership at 78%, which, by the way, is the highest a player has ever been in FPL. That's the highest owned a player has ever been by a significant margin now. That's only going to get higher. I wonder if it could get to 80% by the Game Week 3 deadline. That really would be you know, history in the making. Let's see. Going on to the bench, guys, and you can see one of my new players. So I've got Ward there in goal still. He's not going anywhere near my first team. Andreas is still there with a slight knock, and Archer finally on the bench, who's not going to get any game time. But have you noticed a young Mr. Josh Da Silva has entered the team? So yeah, I did actually sell Bailey when he was still 5 million. And oh, God, I'm coughing. I'm choking on the amazing transfer that I've already made. Yeah, so I sold Bailey when he was still 5 million, and I replaced him with Da Silva at 4.5 million. So I did it before either price change, just to try and build a little bit of team value. And also, I just kind of like Da Silva. I like him a lot. I think he's a very good player. I think he's going to nail himself down in this Brentford team. And I think he can drive forward, take a lot of shots on from range, and occasionally you will get something out of it. I'm not going to play Da Silva every game week. I want to make that perfectly clear. I haven't brought him in to play him every game week. I brought him in just to be I guess a bench option most of the time, a rotation sometimes, and give me that flexibility, that option to maybe now change one of my forwards or one of my defenders, you know, my 4.5 million forward, my 4 million defender, maybe switch them up a little bit and upgrade one of those positions, because I feel like the midfielders aren't quite doing it at the moment. So I'm going to try and move the money out of midfield a little bit. So yeah, that's kind of the plan there. That's why I made that transfer move, and I think long term it could be kind of interesting to see how that plays out. So I know it seems strange using one of your transfers on a bench player, but that's kind of just what I've done there. All right, guys, so let's talk about a couple of transfer options. So I do have a couple of options. One option is to downgrade Saka and replace him with with Martinelli. I don't know if I'm fully convinced about doing that, but I could swap Robertson and Saka around and bring in, you know, Luis Diaz and swap Robertson down for someone else. I could do a triple transfer and just take a -8, which it would end up being, and just take out Neto as well. I could upgrade I could downgrade Robertson and upgrade Patterson. I could downgrade Saka to Martinelli and actually upgrade Patterson to Perisic, which, don't get me wrong, I am actually really tempted to downgrade Saka and upgrade Patterson to do that, but I'm not going to commit to that. I'm not going to commit to anything in this video, to be fair. I've still got a little bit of thinking to do. But one transfer that I think is pretty straightforward, no minuses involved, that I think is good and beneficial for this game week alone, is probably... Well, I say this game week alone, going forward as well, to be fair, but it's probably to go from Neto to Pascal Gross. I kind of like the look of this transfer. I like Pascal Gross's position at the moment. I like that he's on penalties. I like that he's on set pieces. I like the way he's playing just behind the striker, and I like how well Brighton are playing. Brighton have really been playing so well. And after this West Ham game, who have conceded a decent amount of chances, by the way, West Ham have not been, you know, a real tough opponent that so far this season. They've been fairly weak, to be fair. And then after that, the fixtures are just phenomenal for Brighton. So Brighton are a team I do want to jump in on their attack. Is it worth going in slightly early, maybe one game week early, on a Pascal Gross and just seeing what he can do against West Ham? Certainly getting in on him before he raises in price anymore. It's certainly something I'm strongly considering doing. I think it could be pretty interesting. But like I say, guys, this is not something I'm committed to, and anything that I do in my own team, anything I kind of say in these videos, certainly not intended as advice. This is just my team. This is just what I want to do with my team, the risks that I want to take, you know, the strategies that I want to implement. And I don't want you guys to, you know, come away thinking, oh, I wouldn't do that personally, or, you know, I don't want to do that. That's, you know, that's absolutely fine. This is just kind of how I want to play this, I think. So yeah, that is one transfer move I'm eyeing up, or the -4 involving Saka down to Martinelli and Patterson up to Perisic, who I think could potentially bang this week against Wolves at home. So yeah, they're probably the two most likely transfer moves that I make, either the single transfer, just using the free transfer, or that -4. Quickly on captaincy, guys, let's put the captain's armband on Salah against Manchester United, because he just does so well at Manchester United every single time, and I just think, you know, please, I just don't want, I think it could be a differential, because a lot of people who maybe are not, you know, as experienced as at FPL, or, you know, don't know the Premier League as well, will look at this fixture and avoid it. So certainly whilst we're just trying to catch up with the herd, we're not really playing at the top level right now, this will be a real differential on a lot of more casual FPL players who aren't concentrating so much on their team, and could be pretty nice. Jesus on the vice captain, but I do think Jesus could easily be a captain as well. It's definitely between those two for me. Kane with an outside chance, I guess, but certainly Salah and Jesus would be my two favourites. Salah my favourite, Jesus second, and then Kane third, I suppose. And that's out of all of players, by the way. So actually, I feel like I've got the 3 best captains options in my FPL team already, which is always very good. That's very nice. All right, Right, guys, so now we've got that team set up. I just want to have a look quickly and see how it rates on the Fantasy Football Hub My Team tool. Okay, so I've built my team on the Fantasy Football Hub My Team tool, and it's giving my team rating still a 95%. So this is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with a 95% team rating. As I always say, 95% plus is probably where you kind of want to be if you want to have that artificial intelligence optimized team, I guess. I've got a game week rating of 90 as well, which is very nice actually. Predicted points of 63.7 this week, which is pretty good considering pretty much all of my players are playing away from home. I would definitely take a predicted points of 63.7. Salah is predicted to be the highest scoring player with 6.9 points. Kane is, funnily enough, not far behind him. 6.8 predicted points for Harry Kane against Wolves, which is really, really interesting, actually. So, yeah, that's one to keep an eye on as well. And, yeah, overall, I think this team is pretty nice. It's good to see that Patterson is predicted 4 points in this game. So, maybe like a 50-50 chance of getting a clean sheet, which is pretty nice if you look at it that way. And, yeah, the bench players seem to be on slightly lower predicted points, aside from Ward, which this tool is predicting Ward to score more than Raya. But I am going to stick with Raya. I know this tool does factor in home and away, but I'm going to back my boy. So yeah, pretty happy with that one. Don't forget, guys, if you do want to check this tool out, there is a link in the description. This is the full premium version, but you can try it out for free as well and get limited amount of, you can still get a lot of, access to a lot of stuff, but you don't get the whole shebang. If you do want the whole shebang, you want to unlock everything as well as all the other tools that they have, Opta stats, fixture tickers, points predictions, etc, etc. Just use the link in the description. It is 50% off until the Game Week 3 deadline. So if you are planning on getting this premium subscription, please do it now. Don't wait until after, because if you guys are going to get this, and I do recommend you do, I use this stuff all the time. I think it's so essential if you want to play fantasy at the high level. If you are going to do it, please do it now. Please don't pay more than you have to, because we will want to save money. So there we go. And also every time you click on that link, I get money to buy more football shirts as well. So everyone wins, I suppose. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. If you did enjoy, please do leave a like. As I say, if you aren't subscribed already, please do subscribe. We're really closing in on 150,000 subscribers, and it would be amazing to reach that sort of within the next week or something like that. That really would be awesome. Don't forget to check out some of the other videos I've made this week. Loads of videos on transfer tips, buy, sell, keep, avoid, 100 experts, and the tier list of transfers as well. And the strategy stream was pretty good as well, I think. We've got one more video this week where I'm going to do a video all about midfielders and what kind of cheap midfielders you can potentially go for. So stay tuned for that tomorrow. And then we'll do obviously a deadline stream on Saturday morning as well, ahead of the Game Week 3 deadline. But there we go, guys. Thank you once again so much for watching, and I will see you later, mates. Bye-bye.